posted something that was a little bit critical of the Myers Briggs Type Indicator, and oh my goodness, people had feelings. Hi, I'm Bri Williams, the Behaviour Changer. What did I post? It was an excerpt from Lisa Feldman Barrett's excellent book, 7.5 Lessons About the Brain, that suggested you can't measure behaviour by asking people about their behaviour. And why do the test results seem so true when you receive them? Because the test asks what you believe about yourself. The reaction, particularly on LinkedIn, was pronounced. 74,000 views and counting. So many people had an opinion about the Myers Briggs Type Indicator and other personality tests. Some rushed to its defense, while others delighted in it being likened to a horoscope. Of course, even calling these sorts of things tests is a point of contention. The MBTI is an indicator, not a test, for example. But let's not get sidetracked by semantics right now. Instead, I want to talk about these, let's call them tools. And more specifically, and because it's my patch, how they can be used to help you influence behaviour. So I'm not going to be talking about their use in recruitment or job performance or team dynamics. And I'm not going to get into the details of any one instrument in particular. Instead, I want to focus on how personality profiling tools in general can help you understand and influence your own behaviour or someone else's. Here are some of the major benefits of personality profiles. As I see it, personality profiling tools have two major benefits when it comes to influencing behaviour: self-awareness and empathy. In terms of self-awareness, these tools play back to you what you believe about yourself. As Feldman Barrett writes, the results summarise your beliefs and give them back to you. And wow, they fit so well. As far as I'm concerned, if it focuses your attention on your strengths and weaknesses, even momentarily, that can be a good thing. My beliefs about myself are important information for myself and for others. When displayed in a report, in a nicely boxed categorization, you're an ITJP, or steady type, or high in agreeableness, for example. It can make the scramble in your head feel more controllable and more comprehensible. As humans, we are drawn to sifting and sorting, to in-grouping and, by extension, out-grouping. Categorization helps us navigate the complexities of life. It helps us know where and how we fit. There is a big downside to this, of course, because our tendency to stereotype and discriminate between people can be extremely harmful and hurtful. All the more reason for us to be aware of this innate drive to categorize. Aside from self-awareness, personality profiling tools can also stimulate our curiosity about how others may be classified. And this is the other important upside. It can increase interest and empathy. Why might I be challenged by that person? It's not because they're an idiot, it's because they see the world differently. And let's not underestimate the power of this. Personality profiling tools are a multi-billion-dollar industry. Why? Because to succeed, we need to work with and through others. And so getting to know what makes people tick is valuable information. And let's not forget, we are all the heroes of our own story and love to hear about ourselves. From hearing our name mentioned across a busy room to reading a report, effectively telling us what we already think we know about ourselves. We are fascinated. But therein lies the major concern. These tools can, perhaps inadvertently, lull us into thinking we have the definitive user's guide to self, or give us false confidence that we know how others tick, when they are based on a shaky premise. The shaky premise that what we think is what we do. So what are some of the shortcomings of personality profiling tools? This is where it gets touchy when it comes to personality profiling tools. Validity. How valid or accurate are these tests? Without being a lifelong student or practitioner in any of these tools, I'm not going to do justice to the rigor or otherwise of each. Yes, I covered the main ones in my psychology degree, but that gave me a general awareness, not knowledge about how the sausage is made. For further probing, I've included some resources at the end of this piece. But what caught my eye, and why I posted Lisa Feldman Barrett's perspective on this, was this statement. The test results seem so true because the test asks what you believe about yourself. These tools are like looking in the mirror. But what do we know about mirrors? They are not how other people see you. Your image is flipped. That's why people prefer images of themselves that are reversed. We're familiar with our reversed or mirror image. Our friends prefer pictures of us that are not reversed because that's what they're used to. So yes, these tests can feel accurate, but they are usually limited to your beliefs about yourself. Do those beliefs marry up to how you act? How people observe you acting? Feldman Barrett again. You can't measure behaviour. Oh, little one. No. Feldman Barrett again. You can't measure behaviour by asking people about their behaviour. You have to observe that behaviour in multiple contexts. Now, unfortunately, that is difficult to do. But the point I took from this is that beliefs don't always translate into actions. I'm reminded of a health study from a number of years ago that asked people to rate their health status and then compared the self-rating with a derived health profile using observable health metrics, for instance, like blood pressure. The upshot? 67% of people with a chronic health condition believe themselves to be in good or excellent health. Or what about the 60% of Americans who claim they'd turn out to vote, but only 40% did? Or my fellow Victorians, 50% of whom say they eat healthily, yet only 7% eat vegetables on a regular basis. Again, self-reported answers tell us something. They tell us what people believe about themselves. But that doesn't and can't make it predictive. And here's where some of the advocates of the personality profiling tools pop up and say, but they're not designed to be predictive. They're being used for a purpose never intended. That may be true, but I'm certain businesses are not spending over $2 billion a year not to get a sense of how their staff are going to perform. And many businesses selling these tools are doing so on the promise of predicting job fit or performance. And let's be frank, bolstering self-awareness or empathy are only helpful if they help make things better on an ongoing basis. So when it comes to personality profiling tools to help you influence behaviour, what to look for and how to use them. Again, I haven't done a PhD comparing personality tools, and I don't have a stake in any of the camps, so you'll need to do your own research. Two things you might want to focus on though are the tools' reliability and validity. In terms of reliability, if you retake the test, you should get the same result. The DISC profile and the 5-factor model, also known as the Big Five, seem to do well on this. And validity. The tool should measure what it's supposed to measure. Again, the 5-factor model does well here. It says it measures 5 stable personality traits, and it does. When it comes to using personality profiling tools to influence action, I need to be clear that no test that I've seen is designed for this purpose. But being aware of how you see yourself can be useful when contemplating how to approach a situation, an interaction, or a relationship. And being curious about how someone else might see the world is also core to influence. If I'm highly conscientious, I might find myself in conflict with someone who isn't, and therefore need to devise ways of managing that situation. A buyer who is less open to experience may need more assurances than others. A dominant type is unlikely to respond well to my long-winded, detailed email, for example. Which brings me to why I use a DISC-esque version in my training. First, frankly, because it's well known, because it's familiar. That's a trap, I understand. Just because something's popular doesn't mean it's best. But I'm not looking to educate my clients on the tool itself. I'm looking to give them an easy way to analyze opportunities for influence, which is the second major reason I use DISC rather than the Big Five. I was looking for something that makes it easy to use in the moment. When speaking to or meeting with a person for the first time, How can you quickly appraise them, form a hypothesis, and adapt your approach accordingly? What behaviours should you be looking for? So is there merit in using personality profiles to influence behaviour? I'd argue, yes. Do they tell you anything new about yourself? Possibly not. But it takes what's in your head and puts it down on paper. And that can be powerful. Even if you get a result you think is rubbish, that still tells you something about who you think you are or are not. Are these tools subject to gaming or manipulation? Totally. Particularly the short form quiz versions. If you want rigor, it's going to take time and it's going to take money. Can anyone really be accurately placed in a box? And should they be? No. Rationally, no. But in our struggles to understand ourselves and others, personality profiling tools at least start contemplation, if not conversation. Anything that helps us tune into ourselves and others is, from my point of view, a worthwhile exercise. I'll leave it to well-versed others to argue the relative merits of the different personality profiling tools, because from what I've observed, there seem to be two types of people in this world. Those who believe in, you get the idea,